it going, everybody? And Merry Christmas to you if you celebrated it today. And if not, hey, I hope you had a nice, peaceful day, just chilling out and doing fun things that you wanted to do. Yeah, the picture's in the back, right? The picture's in the back. I literally just got done with my yearly tradition. I literally just turned the TV off from having had it on and tuned it to TBS for 24 hours of A Christmas Story. That's a thing that I do every year. I've done it literally ever since they started doing it in like 1997, I want to say, is when they started doing the 24-hour thing. But how's it going? New and tasty Six House, Beepner, System of Awoo's, hooray, and Millie. The game of the lifetime season of the year. Yeah, it's something like that. But yeah, I hope you had a good day. Hope you got everything you wanted. I think all I really wanted this year was like some snow on the ground, and I got that. So I think that largely was just kind of like the only vibe I needed this year. I don't know. It seemed to kind of just be like, you know, there's like I looked out the window this morning and it was just like, yeah, you know what? This is actually kind of nice. I think that's all I wanted. That was nice. I could do without the minus 25 degree wind chill that we've had over the last 3 or 4 days. That's unpleasant. You step outside, the wind's going anywhere from 15 to 25 mile an hour, and you literally get buzzsawed in half like a Mortal Kombat fatality. It feels real bad. But that's just how it be sometimes. But hey, welcome. I hope you're all doing good. I hope everything's nice. Oh, it's cold and dry there. Yeah, it sucks. But again, I got snow on the ground. I've always said that I'm okay with winter as long as it only lasts December 24th and 25th and I get snow. So I don't know. Hey, but before we get started, there's a couple of fun little pieces of business we got to take care of. The mic's cutting out. Is it? Is the mic cutting out? I don't know why the mic would be cutting out. Oh God, I hope the mic's not going bad. That would be kind of a bummer. Am I dying? Is this it? Is it finally the end of the road for my microphone? I actually need to load up my own stream to test. Okay, I can see my levels just fine, which is why I was confused. This is a nice echo. All right. Yeah, maybe it's time to start looking into a new mic if that happens again. I'm cooking a remix now. I did that on purpose. I let it loop a few times on purpose. But we got a little business before we take care of the real business of why we're here tonight. Got some cool new fan art to share with everybody. Every time I get cool new fan art, I like showing it off. And we got a couple of pieces since the last stream that I would like to show off. So the first one comes in from our good pal Shika Snooze, but it was commissioned by Jessica. This is me saying, you're goddamn right. Hey, it's that person. It's Snooze. He's right here in chat. He's the one that drew this. This is me doing my best Walter White. You didn't mean to send this. No, it's okay. Like, you can you can snooze to my stream if you want. Yes, this is my new favorite reaction image, seeing as that I used that Breaking Bad clip to reply and agree to everything. So yes, this is my favorite new thing. But yeah, this is based on a scene from Breaking Bad. It's pretty iconic. I don't want to spoil it for anybody that's not seen Breaking Bad though, so we'll keep that, where that's at. But yeah, this is a great piece of work. So thank you, Jessica, for commissioning it. And of course, thank you to Snooze for rendering my beauty as well as he always does. I think he's drawn me like 250 times by this point. So he's probably like, he may be the best poly drawer at this point. He's drawn me enough. It's ridiculous. And we got another piece that came in. This one was a Christmas present. This one was a Christmas present from my good pal Ballas. I'm going to get, like, this thing's going to appear over me, but it's such a great piece of work that you should look at it and not me anyway. But this is me and my Uma Musume girlfriend, Rice Shower. Isn't it adorable? I cannot pronounce the artist's name. I can get the PPO part right. Oh, look how pretty she is, and Rice Shower is in there too. The game of the year is Polly Pocket Super Splash Island for the Game Boy Advance. It could be. I'll play it next year. It'll have an opportunity. It'll have a chance. But this one was commissioned on Skeb by our good friend Ballas, and I really appreciate it. He knows how much I love Rice Shower. I think it was really cool that he thought of me to have a very cool piece of art like this made. So yeah, this just lit up my day yesterday when I saw it. Just lit up. I literally lit up like a Christmas tree. It is so adorable. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much, Ballas. Thank you so much, PPO8. Wonderful art. Awesome. So who likes video games? I don't. Nobody does. It's fine. You don't have to like video games. Don't let anybody tell you what you need to do, or what you are supposed to do, or what you can and can't do. But you don't have to like video games if you don't want to. But but since you can't stream on Twitch without it being video game content or flashing your titties, I figured, hey, why don't I talk about video games like I like them or something? And then I was just like, well, what if I, like, put them in an organized list? And they were like, what if you like your top 10 favorite games that you supposedly played that year? Titio games, there you go. But I put together a little list here of the top 10 games. But I've also got a little list of honorable mentions that we're going to go over. The first thing I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to go over here and I'm going to get some tunes going. These are just random tunes. I wanted to do a thing where I played a tune from each game when I brought the video up for it. But OBS is stupid and won't let you do that with just waves or MP3s. It needs to be a video. And I didn't want to make 15 more videos because I didn't think to put any music in the videos. So you're just going to have to deal with random music. So we're going to hope that that's playing fine. You can hear music. If you hear music, we are good. A top 10, oh God, it'd be so popular in 2016 YouTube, right? All right, if you can hear me and you can hear music, then we're good. Also, before we do the call-in portion, somebody remind me to disable the limiter. Are we good? Am I good and audible with the music background bed? Can we get started? We're good? Fantastic. All right. So we're gonna start with some honorable mentions here. Set the limiter to 5396 decibels. There is you and there is music. That's kind of like how the Bible starts, isn't it? First there was me, then there was music. I'm good. Sponsored by Audible. Awesome. Yeah, it's a random assortment of music from the games that are on the list. So, again, I wanted to do it all fancy-like, but it was way too late in the process before I realized OBS was not capable of doing the thing that I wanted it to do. Anyway, my first honorable mention title is Graceful Explosion Machine. This is a cute little arena shooter by the Vertex Pop folks, who did one of my favorite games from last year, Super Crush KO. And this game is kind of like, what if you put like shmup? What if you put shmup gameplay, but had like a beat 'em up kind of mentality behind it? I really liked how this game felt. Like, it just, like, everything has a good bit of impact, very much like Super Crush KO. And it's just really, really, really a cool idea that they play around with the weapon types a lot. They're really fun to use and mix and match. And then you really got to use everything. Like, you've got to use everything at your disposal. By the time you get to the end of this game, it's just buck fucking wild. So, how's it going, Metzi? Merry Christmas to you as well. Hope you're doing well. Crimblo. That is way harder to say than I thought it would be. But yeah, Graceful Explosion Machine is rad as hell. It's probably like $2. And you could probably grab this with Graceful Explosion Machine, or you could probably grab this with Super Crush KO right now for like $7 or something. I think that's the deal that they did last year, and I got a bunch of people to buy it. So yeah, look for Graceful Explosion Machine and Super Crush KO if you want some really cool shit that's probably on sale right now because it's the holidays. All right. That is Super Crush KO. How about another one? Here's my second honorable mention. It's a visual novel. Everybody loves boring-ass visual novels you gotta read. Words in your video games. Everybody loves that, right? Well, this one was one that I enjoyed quite a bit. It's part of the Science Adventure series. It's part of the Science Adventure series, which most people know for Steins Gate. But this is a much lighter-hearted story. It's still got some deeply cool, it still tackles some pretty deep personal issues. It's primarily a story about finding your purpose in the world when you live in the shadow of somebody who is massively successful, and how these various characters kind of come together over this theme of building robots to make that happen. And yes, as Red pointed out, these are a lot the characters are so expressive. Like it definitely goes far beyond your typical visual novel in terms of presentation. With the characters having a lot of poses, a lot of animations, a lot of reactions to things. It's just really solid overall. It may run a little long in the tooth. I think that by the time you get to the end, I feel it's maybe an hour or so longer than I wanted it to be, because I was just kind of feeling the burn there at the end. But this is a really, really good story set in that same kind of science adventure-y kind of thing. I skipped the Robotics Notes Dash because apparently it's really bad and it has a character from Steins Gate that is annoying, and he's apparently just real bad. Awful sexual deviant type character, and I just don't want that in with these characters. I think that this story is really cool and doesn't need that element. These characters and stuff are really strong without needing a Steins Gate boost. But yeah, Robotics Notes Elite, pretty solid stuff. Here's one. The next one is one I know a lot of you played. No, hell, I know a lot of us did. A lot of us dumped a lot of time into this one. Here it is. Vampire Survivors. God damn. I dedicated 3 or 4 streams to this damn game, and I played it 50 or 60 hours. Rhett did 3 runs today. This is one of them, this game is crack. You just get addicted. It's ridiculous how freaking good this very simple and cool idea is. Love this game to bits. I stopped playing it because when the full release came out, all of my save data got wiped, so I have to literally unlock fucking everything again. And I was just so deflated. It's why I had Beepner shoot the video for this. It's why the video is provided by Beepner, because I wanted to do a cool run and show a bunch of cool shit popping off, because that's what this game's all about. But it's just I have nothing unlocked. I can't get a run going in the forest yet. It feels bad. So yeah, but this game is great. I want to get back to it, obviously. Oh, you turned off a lot of the crazy mode stuff because otherwise, yeah, it would be incomprehensible. I got that. Yeah. When this game, when I streamed this game, it literally just completely fucks the bitrate. You cannot tell what's going on a lot of the time when you hit the 20-minute mark and you're already fully powered up. But yeah, this game It's one of the coolest designed games of the year. It's such a simple, easy pick up and play thing that actually has a good deal of strategy behind how you mix and match your weapons, and been learning how like certain weapons combine with one another. All that shit's super, super, super fun. So this game is rad as hell. Yeah, this game's a lot like eating a bag of Doritos. You just you finish a run and you go back, you gotta have more. That's really what it's like. And picking up those picking up the damn experience crystals. It feels so good. Those that treasure chest opening animation is one of the most satisfying things on the planet. So much serotonin. I had something similar where the game signed my Windows account instead of my Steam account, meaning I had no. Oh, yeah. I'll get back to it. That's a fun game. Like, I can't put that down forever. I just need to kind of get back into the mood of wanting to rebuild everything again. Okay, this next one is a fun little indie burn called Booster Blade. This is a rad little sort of side-scrolling, I don't know, this is kind of a side-scrolling action game where you cannot stop moving. That's the whole point of the game, is that you have to continuously be moving a direction, and as you can see in the footage, you kind of got to stall your movement a lot, and like there's various obstacles and the like, yeah, sword texture, exactly, yeah. Like, this game was a fun little blast. It's about 45 minutes to an hour long. I kind of want to stream it at some point because I want to replay it again, because it was just a really fun little thing, and I think it would be a fun and cool little thing to show off. I should have had the itch link for people to grab this now that I think about it, but I am not a professional streamer, so if somebody would do me the honor of looking up Booster Blade on itch.io and dropping a link in the chat, I'll give you a big ol' plushy kith. Big ol' plushy kith for you. Up for grabs. Highly coveted, I know. Look at Rhett on top of shit. Rhett, here you go, bud. Oh, that's weird. We'll do it anyway. Mwah! Mwah! That'll work, that's fine. You can pretend. You can use your imagination. I was leaning over the desk is all. Personally, I believe Booster Blade should have been boosted. You are not wrong. That is on me. I definitely should have boosted that. All right, number 5. This one's fun. If you're into the Tohos, you want to check out Udonge in Cross. This is a fun little Mega Man X-like, where you play as Racing from Imperishable Night, and it is just a damn little blast to play. It is just one of those really solid, it's just a solidly put together platformer with really good boss fights and stage designs. And yeah, as Beatmer said, it's kind of hard. Did the music transition at a cool place? Because I'm not listening to the music. I'm just kind of letting it play and watching the level to make sure that it doesn't, go wild. But like I said, I've got a limiter on it. But yeah, this game is just a real delight. I find that it's like a lot of Toho fan games where, you don't really need to know Toho to play this game and have fun with it. It's just a really solid platformer in and of itself. And if you like the way Mega Man X handles, you'll probably find a lot to like about this game, because it's just got really, really solid, action platforming. The dashing feels good. The boss fights are pretty incredible. As you can see on the screen now, just a lot of cool shit happening. I'm pretty sure that I die in this video, and I bet I cut it off, because who wants to die in a video where you're trying to showcase how cool a video game is? Look at me go, though. Udonge in X. Yeah, that's what I called it for the first 6 months that I owned it, and then I heard somebody say it out loud. I think it was Gesh86 who actually got me the game, and I heard him. He did a video on it, and he called it Udonge in Cross. I was like, oh, exactly. Why waste your? Yeah, this one. Super, super, super good. It's still X to me, damn it! Yeah, this one's real good. And our final honorable mention. This one's rad. Our final honorable mention goes to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. Just a super, super solid beat 'em up. Like, this is one of those beat 'em ups where I feel like they get the balance right of letting you do cool shit, but also still being able to throw fun enough situations at you and difficult enough situations at you where the game can still beat your ass. But it is so easy to play this game and look like you are doing so much wild and crazy shit. As you can see in the video here provided by LRock617, like, it is so easy to just go buck wild on these enemy formations and just, it looks like you're doing so much cool shit, but it's so few button presses that this game is just at all times letting you do the cool shit. And that's sort of like where I think Streets of Rage 4 failed, was that, like, I think that game was far too focused on catering to fighting game nerds who wanted to do 800 million hit combos in a corner and learn infinites, whereas this game's kind of just like, hey, do you want to do cool shit? And, like, be able to do it pretty freely, but also, you know, like, the game's still pretty hard. Then this is the game. It's a little long. I think this game's way longer than it needs to be. I'll never finish it on arcade mode because I don't want to play any beat 'em up for an hour and a half straight. But it's super solid. And like, the love that the creators have for the source material is absolutely undeniable. If you know anything about TMNT at all, these guys went for deep cuts. Like, it's not just the normal ass bosses and normal villains you would expect. It's literally just like, yeah, like it's they have unique toys for enemies. They pull some of the craziest one-off villains I've seen, which is pretty wild too. So yeah, this game's just awesome as hell. Just super solid. This just missed my list. Like, I ended up playing it a lot, especially near the end of the year, but I just don't think that, like, I ended up kind of forming that the relationship that I have with the games that are officially in my top 10. So TMNT gets a solid number 11 though. Just real good video game. Like it a lot. Hey, check it out. It's straight. And here we go. This is a boss. This is a boss that is just a one-off character from one episode. And it's just like, yeah. So good. Good video game. Lumina! How's it going? I hope you're doing well this evening. I hope you had a good Christmas. But yeah, that is the final honorable mention. So the way that SocksMakePeopleSexy.net does Game of the Year lists is that we don't limit ourselves to games that were just released in the current year. I think that those lists end up fairly boring and straightforward, and I'm not interested in them. So we always say, hey, if you want to contribute a list, it can be any game that you played in the last year. Just get it on your list. If you had fun with it, if it was your jam, you can do it. So that's why a lot of games will not be, you know, on my list, because, you know, or that's why, you know, or whatever I'm trying to say. Words are hard sometimes. Anyway, we're gonna move on to the top 10 list now. So I'll get it going. My number 10 is, hey, somebody get ready to go to itch.io again for me when you see this one pop up. Somebody drop that link in the chat. My number 10 is Franken. I streamed this one, and this is a delightful little, like, hour and a half RPG that is very largely influenced by Final Fantasy IV and For the Frog, The Bell Tolls. It's got a very simple and fun battle system that it's doing a very specific thing that I really appreciate. It's got a fun little story that's amazing. Thank you for the link, Beepner. Very much appreciate it. It's got a fun little story. It has amazing humor. The thing that I love about the humor in this game is that it's I said on the podcast that this game has a lot of Project Echo energy. And what I mean by that is that, yeah, like, it's wild and crazy a lot of the time with the references that it's throwing out, especially in its soundtrack. Like, this soundtrack is cobbled together from, like, anime and games from across the fucking spectrum. And, the thing that is amazing about both this game and Project Echo is that even if you don't get those references, the humor still lands because they're still telling a funny joke. It's not Family Guy, where the joke is the reference, and that's it. If you don't get the reference, then there's no joke. And this game just avoids that entirely. Also, some of the best character names ever. Like, this game's got some amazing character names. The joke is, remember Rock Lobster. Yes, Splendid Land is very funny. Yeah, this game was a complete jam. Like I said, we streamed this and it completely caught me off guard. I went into this completely blind, other than someone telling me, hey, you will probably like this. This has a lot of big poly energy. So, holy crap, Lois, Frankus is right in my house. Yeah, this game, solid as hell. Great number 10. It's free, by the way, so you've got no choice. You've got no choice and you've got no reason to not be playing Franken. It's literally free and it's only an hour and a half long. Everybody will love you for it. All right. Moving on to my number 9. My number 9 is another game that I streamed this year. I streamed this one with my good pal, Sayara. This is Behind the Frame, the finest scenery. And this is sort of like is it kind of like, I guess you could call it sort of a point and click adventure, but it's also like an explory kind of 3D thing. And yes, Sayara is very cute. But like, the whole point of this game is like the paintings and the world that it's creating and the narrative that it's telling. Like, you're this character and like she's got this obsession with this neighbor she has, and she like draws him every day, but like then like weird shit starts happening in her apartment where you've got to start solving puzzles to like find various colors of paints, and then you start painting in the other paintings that are in her apartment to start kind of telling a more interesting kind of detailed and deep story that's going on. Like, what this game is doing is just very fascinating. I was also a big fan of how lived in the apartment feels that you're in. You're mostly in this apartment the whole time, and it feels very lived in. Like, everything is kind of scattered about in a way that feels really believable. And I really love the instances where you get to actually go inside the world of the paintings and experience those in full 3D, where it's not like a shitty 3D rendering of what was happening in the painting. It's still that painting, but somehow it's just 3D. Like, they didn't sacrifice the 2D elements of the artwork. It's really, really fascinating. And this game made me cry at the end. I was able to get to the mute button before anybody noticed, I think. But yeah, this game made me cry at the end. It's got a really, really great climax. And it's just really, really sweet. It's just a really, really sweet story, and it's an art game that loves art and wants you to love art as well. It's solid. It's really good, Flat Cap. I promise you, it is really good. This game's got another free DLC that just came out. It's apparently around an hour and a half long. That I'll probably stream that at some point. You don't need to be good at art. Like, the painting part of the game is literally just like select the color and kind of just vaguely go over the shape that they're showing you, and then they do it for you. See, I'm not drawing anything that's happening on the screen right now. I'm just like moving the pencil back and forth, and like the sketch is happening. So that's kind of the stuff that you're working with here. It's very easy to engage with on the art side. Don't even sweat it. She's drawing everything that's happening on the stream right now. Also, this game's got amazing, like, animated cutscenes that are very reminiscent of Ghibli films. So, Yeah, that's pretty solid too. Like this game's just, I don't know how this game has such amazing production values, but it does. It is a great game. Love it to pieces. Behind the frame, the finest scenery. Up next, holy shit, I didn't realize that like the 10, 9, and 8 were all 3 games that I streamed this year and ended up loving them a lot. Number 8, some of you out there in chat may remember, is Corpse Factory. You love your Ghibli films, I don't care if that makes me basic. You can be as basic as you want. It's totally fine. Corpse Factory though. Corpse Factory was a jam. This is a great story. I followed this game's production like right when they like sent out their first demo. I was like, oh yeah, I'm on board for what this game's doing with its psychological horror thing. And I was there the day it came out. You can't trust anything I say about this game because I did help to pay to kickstart it, so you can't trust me here. But really loved the story that this thing is telling. The characters are very strong. I think the characters is like it's some of the strongest character writing I saw all year. Just really love these characters a lot. They're all just fucking absolutely broken and just fucked up in ways that are entirely human and believable, and they come from like they come from a very real place, and the game deals a lot with mental illness, and I feel that it handles those issues very respectfully, because the author studied psychology himself, so all of that stuff feels very well handled, but just solid little like psychological horror story that every time I thought I knew where it was gonna go, it would swerve me in a way that I wasn't expecting. I was really impressed with how this game kept swerving and throwing new shit at me, and still just surprising me the whole time. Like, it was just really good at that. And it never felt too ass-pully, despite the fact that I think a lot of things near the end of the game do feel really contrived to get the story to where it needs to be. I still think, like, I've still always kind of thought of this game as like a solid, like, it's kind of like a solid B movie. And you're kind of just enjoying the ride. So the fact that they've got to contrive a few things to get where they're going, it never really bothered me that much. This game is worth an arm and a leg. Maybe just an arm, whatever. I mean, so long as it's the right arm, you know, the one that's needed for the job, at least. You should at least make sure it's that one. Yeah, very cool game. Very fucked up. Best opening of the year, by the way. Love that. That's literally why I used the opening movie videos, because I just fucking love that opening theme so much. It's so good. All right. Well, we'll make things a little more fun going into number 7. My number 7 is a fun little platformer in the vein of Donkey Kong Country and the like. This is Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair. A fun little hop and bopper. It's just one of those it's a simple joy. The gameplay in and of itself, not all that deep, not all that crazy. But what it's the way that they frame everything in this game and the way that they play with all of the toys that they have that make it interesting. The coolest thing is that there are 2 entirely different versions of every level that you can go to, and the remixed versions of every level are just so entirely different that it's not just like, oh, like we made the background purple. Like, no, they completely change so much of what made the levels work while keeping like the sort of the core heart of the levels, and it's just super duper fun. The Impossible Lair itself is really fucked up. It's one of the hardest things I've ever done in a video game, I think, and when I finished it, I literally only had 1 hit left. And I don't know if I would have had the wherewithal to go back to the game immediately if I'd have lost it. But by the time you finish all of the stages, if you choose to do that, like, you can have 48 hits. I think it's 48 or 50 hits for the Impossible Lair, but you got to collect all the bees to do it. So that's a lot of hits, but those hits bleed away real fast when that fucking impossible lair is like 6 or 7 large areas long, and you're just rationing out those final hits and hoping to God you've got enough to get through. And I got through on my last fucking hit, so it was good shit. Now do the boss of Gianna Sisters Twisted Dreams. Oh God, fuck that. No, hell no. That game's fucked up, dude. That game is so mean. That game's literally just mean-spirited, I think. What I also like about this game is that its overworld isn't just an overworld where you select levels. It's an entire adventure game where you've got to do various objectives to like open up the new levels and to change the levels from one version to the next. You've got to solve various puzzles and collect various items to do various things. It's really, really cool. Just a complete little package of a platformer. I said on the podcast that I actually kind of hold this game in the same regard that I do Celeste. So I like it a lot. I liked this game a lot. Just super duper amazing. All right. Moving on, my number 6 is the best Zelda game that I have played in a long time. My number 6 is Faerun 2. Faerun 2 is just a lot of what Faerun 1 does, but it's blown up and way bigger. And there's a lot more to do, a lot more to explore. There's just a whole world of things happening in this game, and the puzzles are bigger, but they're not. It's a game where you could easily go overboard, I think, with how esoteric some things can get. But I felt that they did a good job of not going too far. Faerun X2, it's just 2 Faeruns stapled together. Sorry, Faerun Cross 2. Yeah, this is just a better, I don't know that I would say better, because I streamed Faerun 1 again prior to us recording Game of the Year, just because like I wanted to kind of have another shot at that game on stream. And I like that first game a lot. It's much smaller, like it's an hour or so long. This game took me like 5 hours to beat, so it's much bigger. But the thing that I like about it, and the reason I say it's like the best Zelda game that I've played in a long time, is because like every bit of exploration you do feels rewarded. Every item you collect feels worth having gone out of your way to get, because they're all tied to your progress. Whereas like if I play Zelda, and I do something annoying, it's like, oh, you got a fucking heart piece. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Cool. Heart pieces are good, I guess. Said nobody ever. And I just liked that, like, everything about this game felt like there was a purpose to it. It felt good to search these levels and these large areas that are much more sprawling, and there's like this just whole narrative near the end of the game that starts going pretty buck wild. This game probably has one of my favorite moments of the year, where there's a portion near the end of the game where you get to a door and you need to enter a 5-digit code, and you have no idea what you need to do to get the 5-digit code. So you have to start exploring a bit, and gradually, the more you explore, the way that you understand how the code reveals itself blew my goddamn mind when I saw it. I can't spoil that moment. It's too good. It is way too good for anyone that would want to play this game. Like, it's just way, way, way too good of a moment. I love that it made being lost in a JRPG the puzzle aspect. Exactly. This is a game where you've got to keep your eyes peeled at all times. Look at your walls. Like, the walls are very clearly telegraphed if you can walk behind them. It's a game that I think it doesn't ask too much of the player, other than just, hey, like, be aware of your surroundings. Just look around a bit. Like, the thing that you need is there. You just might not be looking hard enough. I don't want to peel my eyes. They aren't oranges. They are now. You didn't realize what I just did to you while you were asleep, but your eyes are, in fact, now oranges. Suck it, Orange Eye. How do you like that? Boom. Faerun 2, awesome as shit. You can put that on the back of the box. That can be a Steam quote. Awesome as shit. Vitamin C, fuck! That's the best goddamn joke anybody's told all fucking year. Vitamin, holy fuck. Fuck! That done fucked me up. Oh my god, that's so good. Jesus fucking Christ. Somebody made the best joke on my stream ever and it wasn't me. I gotta give my channel to Lumina now. I was gonna go for Stanley Kubrick's A Christmas Orange. Oh. So when you look at something, you can really concentrate. Get out of here! Get out! Stop! Polly says, having made way worse jokes on Twitter. Yeah, I like Faerun 2 a lot. It's very good. My number 5 is an oldie, but it's a goodie. And it's a goodie because it was basically a re-release. But it's a damn good re-release. My number 5 of the year is Doki Doki Literature Club Plus. So Plus is the distinction here. Like, I still like that original game, and it was actually fun kind of revisiting that game 5 years later and seeing if that original story held up. And I think it really does. I still got everything that I liked out of that. I got everything that I liked out of that original story. The first time, like everything, like that fucking song at the end just still fucking rips my heart out and it's so good. Like, yep, okay, still feels good. The big addition here though is the side story content, which these are like 6 individual stories that are kind of like catered to each character and it's sort of like pairing them up with another character. And it explores the origins of the literature club, and how Monica created it. And also without the presence of like the player avatar being there. So that basically means that nothing goes wrong. But these are like very, they're very touching side stories about the very real like mental health issues and the social anxieties that these characters experience. And there, like, I had to stop for like an hour on a number of occasions throughout playing these side stories because they were hitting me so hard, and just like, you know, I ended up actually seeing a lot of myself. I ended up seeing a lot of myself in these characters and in these side stories, and it gutted me to my core at points. But but the way that it handles all of this stuff, like, it completely strips out the elements that were in that original story that kind of made that original story famous. And it really does just focus more on these, getting to know these characters and seeing them more, seeing them as more than just like horror game fodder, to kind of like spoil that original game a little bit. And I think that Dan Salvato very specifically, like the vibe I get from these side stories is that I feel that he as an author wanted these characters to be seen as more, because the way the audience gravitated toward them, it really kind of like, I want something a little better for them. But it also feels like he wants this to kind of like, he wants you to kind of like see yourself in these characters and kind of come to the understanding that these characters come to in these side stories, and that like, yes, like we're all probably fucked up in some way or another, but it doesn't have to be what defines us. It's always going to be a part of us, and that's okay. And then there's just the various ways that these characters like deal with all of that. It's just a lot of, like, I don't want to spoil any of it because it's all so good. It's just amazing content. It is worth the price of admission. Even if that original game is free, like, I feel that Plus is absolutely worth the price of admission. If you like these characters and want to experience a more human side to who they are. This is where you go to get that. It's absolutely amazing. Oh, I already bought it. I should probably, yeah, like I'm pretty sure that like you bought it on my recommendation. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm the one that influenced you buying that. All right. Number 4, here's not a surprise to anyone that this game's on the list. Number 4 is the Somnium Files Nirvana Initiative. This game is a solid little follow-up to the original the Somnium Files. It just does a lot of what that original game did with a slightly different tone and a different focus. That original game had like sort of more of an emotional focus. Like there was like very much about the character drama, and Nirvana Initiative is a little more focused this time on sort of the procedural detective part of what this game is kind of rooted in, and that's really like, and that stuff is really handled well. Like, I really liked the detectiving in this game. I thought all of the investigation stuff was super, super well put together. And even if this, like the trick of the story is maybe a bit, maybe one of Uchikoshi's weaker reveals, I think it's still a pretty cool thing. Despite that, in the moment, I still got, this is still cool as shit. I would also say I'm more interested in dealing with abstract concepts. That as well. It is definitely a lot more interested in dealing with abstract concepts, especially when you get to characters like Tokiko Shigure, who is one of the coolest characters of the year. I like her a lot. A lot of people seem to think that she is very boring and dry, but I think that character is saying and doing a lot with like her existence, and I think that she's a real fascinating character study. Also, just like that this game has a lot of that same comedic, dramatic tone. It's still all of that. Like, if you played that original game, there's still, like even if the tone is a bit different, and even if the focus is on what is essentially a new cast of characters, it's still very, very solid. Like, you will still feel right at home. Like, even if you already know all of the old characters and that they don't play as large a role in this game, the new characters that they do choose to expand upon and the new characters that are added are still awesome. Like, they've still got that same solid writing and voice acting behind them. This is a game that's still, like, despite the fact that the Somnium Files, the original, was my game of the year that it came out, the fact that the second game is number 4, don't let that be any kind of statement about the quality of the game. It's still fantastic. I love this game to pieces. I would absolutely play another game. It's just, hey, like the focus is a little different than what I was maybe wanting. That's just more of a preferences thing. But I still like this game a whole fucking lot. Nothing changing there. Uchikoshi's still doing that good shit. Alrighty, let me check something here. Sorry about that. Had to check something real quick. Also, I need a drink because I've been talking nonstop for 45 minutes, I guess. Okay, hold on. Why is the video the Digimon Cyber Sleuth RPG? That is a Somnium in the game that kind of mimics Pokemon. It's very fucking silly. Again, this game's the Somniums are actually way better than the first games, I think. If there's anything I think that this game does absolutely better than the first game, it's the Somniums and the action scenes. We've seen this action scene with Mizuki now like 50 times, but it's so fucking good. Good fucking video game. Okay, so it wasn't just me seeing. Yeah, there's a whole Somnium world based around Pokemon Go. And you pick up characters from the game as your fighters. It's very cool. As somebody who doesn't give a single shit about Pokemon, I was laughing my ass off the whole time during that Somnium. So, anyway. My number 3. Hey, guess what? It had to happen. Boom, here it is. My number 3 is a Falcom game. I bet you're really surprised. This is the part where you get to act really surprised that there's a Falcom game on my Game of the Year list. There you go. This is The Legend of Heroes Trails from Zero. This is the latest release in America. What the heck is a Falcom game? They're just a very good developer. But this is the latest release in the series in the US. This is as far as we've gotten, like, in the Crossbell part of the story. This is like, so you got the Trails in the Sky series, and then you've got Trails of Cold Steel, but in the middle of that, you've got Trails from Zero and Trails to Azure, and those are sort of the middle Crossbell arc. And we're just now getting the Crossbell games. So this is the first of the Crossbell games. And this is the one where you get introduced to an amazing set of characters called the SSS. They're the police, they're cops, yes, ACAB, I get it, but but we still love Lloyd Bannings, we still love Ellie McDowell, we still love Randy, and we still love Tio, because they're all great. They're just great, wonderful characters with a lot of heart. It's that good fucking Falcom writing they're telling a solid story. They're doing all the right setup. All Lloyds are bastards. There you go. But this game is it's just that top-notch Falcom shit. Yeah, Red mathematically loves Tio more than anyone else. And why shouldn't he? Tio is amazing. She is a fantastic character. Just one of the best sort of like snarky kind of like standoffish type characters, but she's also just a sweet little cinnamon roll as well. Just under it all. She's not really tsundere because she's not mean to anybody. She's just got a mouth on her. This is one less than SSS Gridman. But yeah, like, it's a fucking Falcom game. It slaps. You knew it was gonna be here. Like, there's probably always gonna be one. Like, as long as a Falcom game released in a year, unless it was a total fucking disaster. Yeah, like, that's why I went ahead and used this video with special thanks to KZ Excellent, who gave me permission to use video from his Let's Plays for the next couple of choices. Yeah, this is how you play these games now, is you use turbo mode to zoom through the normal fights. And it feels really good. Turbo mode makes RPGs a fucking blast, and like every RPG needs turbo mode, and that's just where I'm at. That's just where I'm at with it. But yeah. Trails from Zero, Trails from Azure comes out in literally like 3 months. So, and then like Trails into Reverie is also next year. So there's a possibility for 2 Falcom games to end up on my list next year. So there you go. Spoilers! Spoilers for Game of the Year 2023, probably. They added turbo to Soul Hackers 2, but it's a toggle instead of a hold to turbo. That's fine, because I think that Soul Hackers 2 is a game where it's way too slow, and I think that like just keeping it turned on is fine. Like, I'm eager to get back to that game, because like it being kind of slow is one of the reasons why I kind of put it down. Like, when I heard that they were gonna do that quality of life patch, I was like, oh, cool, I'm just putting it down. It's still faster than, yeah, it's still faster normal than that. Yeah, you ain't wrong. All right, so number 2, here's a banger. Here's a fucking banger. Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. There's no way to not love a Xeno game, I think. It's so good. Just a game that literally, this is a game where I was literally there day one to buy it. Like, I was one of those people that put my money where my mouth was when Nintendo was like, hey, you gotta buy it if we're gonna put it out. I was there. You could only pre-order that shit at GameStop back in the day, and they didn't get a lot of copies of it. But I was there day fucking one for Xenoblade, and I tried so hard to play that game on the Wii. I tried so hard, so many times, to give that game a shot, and it just never fucking clicked. Never clicked. Could never get into the combat, could never get into the systems. I couldn't get over the anxiety that like all of these side quests that I may not be getting are piling up, and like, what if I don't do them? But for some reason this year, when I popped in Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, which has a lot of cool quality of life features, somehow I was able to get over that hump. I was able to finally like turn that part of my brain off that keeps screaming, "Hey, you're missing something! You're missing things! Go back!" I was able to get over that, but I was still also able to kind of sit down and just enjoy doing the side quests because they marked them sensibly on the map. And hey, I know there are some people that like to play these games without a map and without waypoints and stuff, but for me, it just made that stuff super easy to digest, and it made it a lot of fun for me to sit there and watch number get bigger. It felt nice. I liked it. But I love that this game just like goes fucking bonkers after like a certain point in the story. Like once you hit like, I think it's like probably the 60 or 70% mark, you're not stopping. You can't. The story reaches this peak where it's just like the stakes are so high and so many cool things are happening. You're not putting it down. You just go. You just feet to the ground. You're going. You were running off the aircraft carrier. You were holding your arms out and you were taking flight. And you were doing that until the end of the video game. And my God, what an end of the video game that this video game has. Like the final, the big climax, like the last 5 hours of this game are fucking nuts. The final boss encounters are incredible. Just, God, this is a game where I'm glad I finally get to be a part of it. I'm glad that I finally like, oh, I finally get it. This game is as awesome as everybody says it was, and that I knew it was. It just took 10 goddamn years and an entirely different version of the game to finally click. It's so good. It's so good. Believe the hype, folks. Xenoblade is awesome. Not a question. Not a single one. You should be. This game is so good. I loved it to pieces. You ever pick it up and you start playing it, let me know. I want to hear your thoughts. All right. And are we ready? My game of the year. We're finally going to reveal. We finally reached number... God, I did this in under an hour. I reached the top 10. Like, I could just sit here... My fucking God, I could just do my game of the year list every year. And I could just sit here and like without the need of doing a podcast and just get it done in an hour instead of having to do 7 fucking hours of podcasts. Hey, it's Apollo. I'll just do it myself. I don't need to sit here and edit 7 hours of podcasts. I don't need to sit here and just like look at the clock and watch and look out the window and watch it get dark and think, we started this at 2 o'clock. How is it 9:30? I kid though. I wouldn't change that shit for anything. Fuck it, we're doing it live. I don't know that I could handle doing Game of the Year live. I just don't think I could. I think I would just fucking crack. Anyway, we have my Game of the Year. So before I tell you what the game was, last year I had a dark horse game that climbed up my list just every time I iterated on my list. And by the time we got to the end of it, it made the climb and it latched on to number 4 because my top 3 were so strong that wall was just impenetrable. And this year's dark horse game made that journey. It climbed to the peak. It reached the zenith. My number 1 game of the year. Favorite thing I played all year is Transaruby. This is the newest banger from the Skipmore dude. It is a cute little stress-free action platformer Metroidvania explore-do kind of game. And like I said, as I iterated on my list and I kept iterating on this list, this game just kept climbing. This game, like when I made the first iteration of my list, which was like late October, early November, this was at 10. And then like every time I went back and redid my list, it would climb up 1 or 2 spaces so that like you get there to the final iteration. We do a podcast. I have to think about these things. It's like when you get near the end of the year, you're thinking about your game of the year because you do a podcast. So it's just like, okay, like how are things looking right now? So yeah, like that iterates over the course of a couple of months. Yeah, like that just happens. That's kind of always just been the case. But like when I got to the end of my list and Xenoblade was at the top like the whole time. Xenoblade was the game of the year to beat. And like every iteration up until the final iteration, Trans-Ruby is like usurped Xenoblade because, and the reason is that when I sat down and I honestly asked myself, like, what don't I like about a game on my list? And I could go through 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, and 3. And when I got to 2, I couldn't think of a single thing that I didn't like about Trans-Ruby. I could think of things that kind of irk me about Xenoblade. So it just made sense to me that Trans-Ruby gets the nod. It just felt like the right move to make. Because I like this game a lot. Like, is it the most challenging game ever? No. Is it the most deep and complex? Like, is it labyrinthine in the same way that like Hollow Knight or Super Metroid is? Not at all. But this game has a confidence in everything that it does, and it does it with a level of competence that is just staggering. It's just so good at what it's doing that it's undeniable. And I just love this game. I played this game 3 times this year. The second time I replayed it was literally after I finished it the first time. And when I went back and replayed it, like at the end of November, it was like, oh yeah, like this game really is the truth, huh? How can a Blade be Xeno? Exactly. That's really what it came down to. Whereas I can really think of a Ruby and think, yeah, you could probably transit that. That probably makes way more sense than trying to Xeno a Blade anyway. And this game's got an incredible climax. The entire final area, like what I loved about this game and getting to the final area was that in my brain, the first time I was playing, and I was like, all right, game, like we've been doing the same thing now for, like 5 or 6 hours. You probably need to like do a little something different here. You're gonna have like maybe a little weaker of an ending than I thought. And then that final area goes off in a way that I was not expecting, and it's super cool, and it's such an awesome twist on what you end up doing the whole game that, like, oh, great, you nailed it. You nailed it. Also, this is a game where you could turn into a motorcycle. Have you ever wanted to be a girl that could turn into a motorcycle? I think I just sold nearly everyone in chat on Trans-Ruby. Everybody's going over to Steam right now and picking it up. God damn. Can't believe I just sold 450 copies of Trans-Ruby. You're welcome, Skipmore! This is the game that also made me love Skipmore games. Because after I finished this, I went back and I played Faerun 1 and it clicked for me. Because I didn't really like Faerun the first time I played it. I wanted it to be something else that it wasn't, and I was just mad that it wasn't the thing that I thought it was. Whereas, because like my brain was like locked into the idea that, oh, it's an RPG, but the RPG part really doesn't matter so much. It's the exploration and the world. And this made me appreciate that. And I went back and I played Faerun 1 and 2 like back to back, and it was like, yeah, like this is great. And this game, it has all of those same strengths that Faerun 1 and 2 have. It's just like, hey, watch your surroundings, and you're always going to be able to figure out what you need to do next. It may seem hopeless sometimes, but if you just look at your surroundings, keep your eyes looking for the things that you need to be looking for, then yeah, like there you go. This is solid to get. Transferumi, that's my game of the year. Like, it's as close to a fucking perfect game as I can imagine. Like, kind of just is perfect. Like, I can't think of anything wrong with it, and it's like the perfect length. It's the world's like the perfect size. The action feels fine. Like, the bosses are fun. But the little upgrades you get are just, it all comes together in a way that is just so perfect. And that's why Transferumi deserves to be my game of 2022. We made it through, everybody. We did it. I'm proud of us. We survived me talking for like, what, an hour and 10 minutes or something? It's kind of crazy. I can't believe we did it, honestly. I can't believe you people actually sat there and listened to this. What is, like, especially on Christmas night, I can't believe you sat there and listened to me do that. I appreciate it, however. Good list, very good picks. Well, thank you so much. So, all right. Like, is there anybody out there watching that would like to come on and talk to me a bit about their games, about their game list? Is there anybody out there that wants to do that, or are we going to go ahead and call it? If people want to come on and people want to talk about some things that they played this year that made them all happy in their jolly spots, I'm happy to stick around and do that. But if we're happy just like calling it and just ending it there, I'm fine. Whatever you folks want to do. You're quietly realizing that you finished like 2 games this year. You know what? Guess what, Cap? Turns out adulting is hard. It doesn't leave a lot of time for you to do fun things a lot of the time. And given the schedule that I know you have to keep with all your schooling and stuff, I fucking get it. I've been there. I went to audio engineering school. I know what that shit's like. I know what it's like having no fucking time for anything else. The adulting struggle, but you try. Law school is the real game. Yeah, like that's the real game. This is the deepest game, more than likely. Like that is a game that is too fucking smart for me anyway. I gave you my feels on games of the podcast, but adulting make games hard to fan. Yeah, absolutely. How's it going, Pim, by the way? Happy to see you out there. Merry Christmas. Yeah, adulting makes it hard to play video games. That really sucks sometimes. It's real crappy. Because video games are such a good outlet. And I find that that's why a lot of games end up being like as high as they are on my list, because they make me smile in a world that makes me not smile. Hey, depresso espresso. Who feels it? I do. Mental illness. Vibing, just frozen chicken tacos for dinner. Yo, chicken tacos. Goddamn. They're so good. Love me some chicken tacos. All right. I have not seen any interest out there in internet land of wanting to come on and talk. So I do think that we are going to go ahead, and I guess we're just calling it there this time. We will be doing a New Year's Eve stream. Well, you're too shy? You're too shy. You're too shy. Yeah, we are doing a New Year's Eve stream. If you go look at my Twitter, I put a poll up where if you guys want me to start that stream at 8 or 9, and we're going to go till a little past midnight, I'm going to be drinking vodka. So if you want to come on and you want to talk to me while I'm drinking vodka, it went very well last year. I think that I did very good doing shots for 3.5 hours, and I came out the other side being pretty goddamn cognizant at the end of it. So yeah, if you will try to come on, yo, we need to do that. Pim, if you want to come on, I will save a space for you. If you want to come on, I will save a space for you that night. You just like let me know if you know a time that you can come by, and I'll absolutely save the space for you. So, but yeah, we have a bunch of people. That's typically what we did last year. Was we people called in. We talked about the year a little bit, the year that was, and the year that we want it to be, and then we kind of just enjoy, and then we swap out. It was a real fun time. So. Right, absolutely. Just DM me if you know what's up, and I will hold a spot for you because you've not been on my stream in the past, and I like giving priority to folks who've never been on. But nothing against my regulars, of course, but like new faces want to come and like hang out and talk to little old me. I'm more than happy to give them that chance so that like, you know, they can hop in and do so. But yeah, December 31st, we're going to start at 8 or 9 o'clock. Go to my Twitter. There's a poll there for you to decide when we start. And then we will be just pulling people in, talking about the year, getting all of our feels out. We got a little feelsy last year because, hey, again, life kind of sucks sometimes. But we got it all out, and we tried to go into this year with as good of a running start as we could. And it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of feels. It was a lot of good feels around the campfire, and it made me feel really good going into 2022 as well. So hopefully we can carry that into 2023. That will be awesome. Let's see who's streaming so we can toss this party on over. It's Christmas night. Who's streaming on Christmas night? My friend Dr. Doobie is streaming on Christmas night, and I can't think of anybody that I'd rather throw y'all to. He is playing Persona 5 Royal, so if you need some more Persona in your life. How does he spell his name? Okay, alright. I wasn't sure if he used letters or numbers. I know one of his handles. Alright. So, we're going to go say hi to my good friend Dr. Doobie. Everybody give him a follow. Send him some love. Purse Owner 5, baby! You know it! And the next time we meet will be New Year's Eve. Keep an eye on Twitter to find out when all of that happens. And I can't wait to see you all then. It's gonna be great to bring in the new year with all of you. It was a fantastic last time. Thanks for coming out on this very busy Christmas night to listen to me blab about video games I like. It means the world to me that you gave me an hour or so of your time to just listen to me gush over the things that I like, especially on a major holiday like this. Y'all are awesome. Merry Christmas and lots of love. Take care of yourselves. Bye.